Media Prime Television, coming to you live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. My name is Fon Quinter. Let's begin today's edition of Prime News in Cameroon's southwest region with preparatory activities ahead of the celebration of the country's National Day come Friday. Emmanuela C. paints a picture of these activities in Boya. Her report.
2 days to go for the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the National Day come Friday 2022. Rehearsal sessions are on the way at the Boya Independence Square involving military and paramilitary forces. The National Day celebration this year is placed under the theme Defense and Security Forces at the service of the people in preserving social peace and national cohesion, a guarantee for an emerging Cameroon. As the rehearsals gear up, it has led to road blockages in some parts of the city, which has led to the population trekking to their various destinations. With yesterday's rehearsals halted as a result of the weather, the young and vibrant officers sang songs and danced while enjoying themselves in the rain. According to the official program, other preparatory activities include a general cleanup campaign today from Boya Town to Mile 16. A torchlight unity walk would take place tomorrow from the governor's office to the ceremonial ground at Bongo Square. The population of Boya has been called upon to massively turn out for their support for the effort geared towards national unity.
Another Unity and Integration Village has been inaugurated in Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital, ahead of the celebration of the 50th National Day come May 20, 2022. Get details in this report. This action by the Minister of Trade, Lugma Grambarga Atangana, signifies the official opening of the Unity and Integration Village at the Yaoundé Town Hall in the presence of Youth and Civic Education Minister Monuna Fotso. The Unity Village is a platform to showcase Cameroon's rich cultural diversity and promote peace and unity among Cameroonians, plus a call for the respect of the nation's national emblem.
La solidarité entre les Camerounais qui fait que dans un environnement.
The solidarity between Cameroonians is so strong such that even in hard times, Cameroonians can feed themselves. They can be entrepreneurial. They can continue to live. Cameroonians are suffering, for sure, but relatively, their sufferings are less than that of some countries in the Western world.
Beaucoup moins que d'autres, y compris des pays occidentaux, où aujourd'hui nous avons vu.
The village is part of the harmonized national program put in place by the Ministry of Youth and Civic Education to educate youth on various issues relating to national life. Major innovations this year has been the division of the village into several sections to promote the sale of basic commodities. During the inauguration ceremony, lessons on first aid and firefighting techniques were simulated by the Firefighting Brigade and the Red Cross. The yearly event that is intended to bring Cameroonians together to celebrate peace and unity will run till May 19, eve of Cameroon's National Day. In a related story, as part of activities marking the celebration of the 50th edition of the National Day, the Secretary General at the Littoral Governor's Office yesterday presided over the opening of the Douala Twintet Village. Joingong completes the story.
As preparations for this year's celebration of Cameroon's National Day intensifies, a Unity Village has been opened in Bonanjo, Douala, to showcase the various units and services of the Defense and Security Forces.
We are very proud to see the know-how of our administrations, the force of defense forces and security. They have shown to us different logistics that they are putting in place to secure our population.
Found at the Unity Village are stands of different units of the defense sector, including the police, the National Gendarmerie, custom officers, penitentiary administration, the National Marine, as well as departments of local administrations. The 20th May Village is equally an opportunity to promote made in Cameroon through exhibitions in the agricultural and food processing sectors.
We do the transformation of potato flour, yam flour, cassava flour. So We are here to present our product.
Many years ago, I was suffering a lot of obesity, and today, by the grace of God, I try my best to be able to lose the weight. And today, I just put in the market the product who can help people who want to lose weight. We have many products. We have like a green, half a green tea. We have a laxative tea to help people who want to lose weight. Because before I was having 102 kilo, and today I have 72 kilo.
This year's Unity and National Integration Village strives to fight against high cost of living, the promotion of ancestral heritage know-how, and the Army Nation concept. A perfect way to celebrate 50 years of unity.
Away from preparatory activities ahead of May 20 celebration, let's now talk education as the Class 6 pupils in the basic education sector in Limbe joined their peers nationwide to sit in for the government common entrance examination into secondary school on Tuesday, May 17, amid tight security as highlighted by the Division Officer of Limbe 1, Nsah, has details.
As early as 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, many parents were spotted accompanying their children to the various examination centers across the municipality. In his assessment hall, the divisional officer for Limbe 1 subdivision, Moni Innocent Nanji, paid courtesy visit to all the 7 centers hosting the various primary schools in Limbe. In one of the centers at Government Practicing School Mile 1, the chief of center told the divisional officer that the center is accommodating most primary schools from Mile 4 due to insecurity and threats from separatist fighters who have made Mile 4 Bonadikombo their hideout, coupled with the recent calls for ghost town. According to the DO Innocent Moni, his courtesy visit is a psychological and moral booster to their children. At the end of his evaluation mission, the divisional officer for Limbe 1 gave an assessment of the various centers he visited.
Today, our children who will surely be leaving primary schools in the days ahead writing one of the first end of course exams, which is the common entrance examination for those who want to go to grammar and the technical examination for those who want to go to technical schools. In Limbe 1 subdivisions, the examination was crammed into 7 sub-centers. This morning, we decided to go around to take the pulse, to take the tempo of how things are faring. This is my 4th center covered since we started. By this 4 on 7, we can see all is well. The first thing we noticed was enough security from the elements of forces of law and order. They are there to give assurance to the children, to the population, and to the environment that the state is still standing tall.
The DO was equally satisfied with the number of parents and guardians who sat patiently waiting for their children to finish with their exams in order to ensure their security.
I will tell you something. You will hear a little boy of about 3-4 years. Once you try him in school, he will tell you, "I'll tell my father." A little girl of about the same age, once anything goes wrong, will tell you, "I'll tell my mother." To those children, those are their own gendarmes. Those are their own horizon. That is their own security. They imagine the parent accompanying a child to come and sit and write an exam. That child, one, will be very stable psychologically, knowing that the parent is outside there. And secondly, the child will want to do all his or her best to make sure that it does not disappoint that parent that left the house and sacrificed his morning to come and escort him or her so that she can write the exam. Indeed, it is we are guiding and advising all parents to do the same.
It is worth noting that the common entrance examination is the first public exams organized by the basic education sector in Cameroon, where successful candidates gain admission into government, secondary, private, and technical schools.
Cameroon's Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Owona, has urged teachers to call off their strike action. This was during a meeting in Yaoundé with leaders of the various unions of the basic and secondary education sectors. Mwanzi Njoyogo tells us more.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security chaired a meeting in Yaoundé with the leaders of the various teachers' trade unions of both the basic and secondary education sectors. In his introductory remarks, Minister Gregoire Owona acknowledged that it was necessary to invite the various actors concerned to this evaluation meeting. The 31 grievances laid by teachers were summarized into 3 revendications, which are the financial aspect, the advancement of career acts, and the non-application of texts. During this meeting, the problems laid down by teachers were noted, and the minister promised to solve these problems. To add, the solutions brought about by the minister are the prospective establishment of a special status for teachers, the integration of technical school teachers, and the application of some texts. He equally called on the teachers to cease their strike action. What's bearing in mind that on February 21st, 2022, teachers staged strike actions all over the country, demanding better treatment from the government and equally urging the government to apply state texts in relation to teachers.
A conference on food security and ways to improve standards of living is ongoing in Yaoundé. This project, an initiative of the World Bank, has sustained livelihood of over 3,000 Cameroonians so far, as Nsah regional correspondent Colette Lum tells us more.
About 3,000 Cameroonian households have benefited from the Safety Net project, which is intended to give the beneficiaries small capital to start up business activities in order to improve on their livelihood. The World Bank project, in line with the government of Cameroon, is under evaluation in Yaoundé by a representative of the World Bank, aimed at fostering the second phase of the project, which will run from 2023 to 2028. It is worth noting the initiative set pace since 2015. Since then, the Social Safety Network project has recorded satisfactory results. This initiative has equally improved the livelihood of the vulnerable population, helping them to gain access to better living conditions. As the program is under scrutiny in Yaoundé, nutrition is the focal point.
The World Bank has allocated $160 million to expand the Safety Nets project and make sure that it reaches even more poor households across the country. And in addition, it also includes a new component, a new set of support activities for vulnerable youth in urban areas.
This ongoing program is accompanied by a money transfer of an emergency program which is carried out in regions plagued by insecurity, floods and droughts, resolving the massive influx of internally displaced persons and refugees in the country.
Results of a study on electronic payments in Cameroon. All that is needed to prepare a good launch of the new project financed by the bank has already been approved by the executive board, and we hope it will become effective in the next few months.
The World Bank delegation is equally expected to visit some households in Yaoundé, which has benefited from the project.
Fire has ravaged 2 houses at the Akeba neighborhood in Douala, constructed out of plank. The houses got burned to ash level despite the efforts by the population to put it out. Nora Kakebi completes the story.
The population of Akeba, a neighborhood in the economic capital Douala, is still in shock as they witnessed some houses being razed by fire. The sad incident occurred yesterday, May 17th, at about 5 p.m. beside the College of Hope, Arts and Science. 2 houses, one a 6-bedroom house and the other a 4-bedroom house, were all razed to ashes. Both houses were badly burnt because of the fact that they were all made of plank, commonly known as carabout house. The exact cause of the fire has not been established. The local inhabitants of Akeba did all they could to put out the fire while waiting for the firefighting brigade. A few hours after the firefighting brigade was called, they made their entrance, but the local population was hostile and angry, saying they delayed. On their part, the firefighters argued that they have to go through intense traffic to get to the scene of the disaster. It is important to note that in fire situations, the firefighting unit can only help minimize the fire and prevent it from affecting nearby houses and not put it out completely. Fortunately, there were no human casualties, but huge material damages were recorded. The occupants of the burnt houses lost items ranging from kitchen utensils to household furniture and other valuables. The victims have been rendered homeless and have just their eyes to cry.
West Regional Governor Fon Quinter has visited a 34-year-old internally displaced lady who gave birth to quadruplets at the Bafoussam Regional Hospital. He visited her yesterday, May 17, 2022, at Catherine Ekong with us.
A 34-year-old lady, Angela Nanga, who is an internally displaced person in Baleng West region of Cameroon, has been delivered of a set of quadruplets, all boys, at the Bafoussam Regional Hospital. 2 of them were born naturally, while the other 2 through cesarean section. The director of the regional hospital, George Eno Orok, says her bills will be taken care of by the regional hospital.
Injury, cesarean section, and 4 healthy boys were recovered. They are at the neonatal unit now. All are doing very well. The smallest weighs 900 grams, but in perfect health. All are under breastfeeding. The mother, the children, and the entire team are all fine. And we are very encouraged by the presence of His Excellency, the Governor of the region, who came in to reconfort us, to thank us, to appreciate us. And this is very instigating and very stimulating. We appreciate it. The care of the mother and the children is entirely borne by the regional hospital officer.
The governor of West Region, Fonka Augustine, visited the hospital where he gave the lady some financial assistance.
You say you don't do fine work, you don't ask for you don't do 4 people, 4 man picking them, 4 soldiers who can do. You don't come on for them before.
However, fully taking care of the quadruplets might entail much more. That is why Angela Nanga relatives have launched a call for assistance for the upkeep of the newborns. At the moment, the quadruplets are in good health and taken care of at the Bafoussam Regional Hospital.
Some inhabitants of Marwa, among them patients, have accused the staff and management of the Marwa Regional Hospital of engaging in corrupt practices and offering poor services to patients. They say it is 1,000 times better to go to private hospitals or die with dignity at home than go to the Marwa Regional Hospital, where they are treated like beggars. Emanuela Moni completes the story.
Has the hospital become a place of business? A question inhabitants of Marwa ponder on a daily basis. These Marwa city dwellers condemn the poor treatment patients receive in emergency services, as they are said to be given poor quality of medical and surgical emergency care. Corruption and scam have become the order of the day at the Marwa Regional Hospital. One of the patients in this hospital said it has become a business. Without money, there is no care. And sometimes even when you pay the service, the rest of your medicines are confiscated, sometimes stolen by the same nurses who are supposed to be caregivers. Other times you come to a room and find the nurses playing games on their cell phones. It's either you wait for them to finish playing their game or leave. These health personnel at the Marwa Regional Hospital have forgotten the notion of urgency, another patient recounted. The Prime Minister, head of government, and the Minister of Public Health gave a prescription aimed at improving the reception and care in the emergency services in hospitals. In a letter by the Minister of Public Health barely a month ago, Dr. Manauda Malashi reminded the heads of health facilities on the instructions relating to reception, orientation, and care for the sick. Despite these prescriptions, the evil acts still persist, making people suspicious of public hospitals. Mara inhabitants call on the Minister of Public Health to look into their situation, as they say their lives are more and more in danger in these public institutions. They say life is sacred and valuable, and no amount of money can buy it.
Still on health, over 11% of the country's target population have been vaccinated against COVID-19. In this report, Cynthia Azanu gives us recent update on the confirmed, recovered and death cases. Her report.
In Cameroon, over 1,175,467 people have been fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 pandemic since the start of the vaccination campaign. These vaccinated people represent 11% of the target population fully vaccinated against the virus. According to the Minister of Public Health, the epidemiological situation reports 119,947 confirmed cases for 117,980 recovered and 1,930 deaths on May 11, 2022. The health boss has also ensured that the pandemic is under control in the country. According to the minister, there is a substantial drop in the number of cases, anything that reflects the effectiveness of the measure implemented since the start of the pandemic through the system screening at the country's entry points, improving management capacities, and backed up by strengthening an existing health facilities. It is important to note that the minister has also strengthened the health vigilance to better combat other epidemics such as cholera, yellow fever, measles, and polio.
And to sports, the Cameroon Football Federation has communicated details of expenses incurred in the context of the organization of the Men and Women Championship, since Samuel Othofis became president of the body. Dolingande completes the story.
Samuel Eto'o does not skimp on the means in terms of financing the two men's football championships and women's first division football competition. At nearly 5 months of his term as president of FECAFOOT, the body is approaching 1 billion francs CFA in terms of expenditure for these 3 championships. Looking at how the money has been spent, the sum of 907 million francs CFA has been disbursed for the purpose for professional championships. Indeed, the Cameroonian Football Federation, FECAFOOT, began since Friday with the payment of the second installment of the subsidy intended for the clubs of the MTN Elite 1 Championship, approximately an amount of 11 million francs for each club. And this is the balance of the FECAFOOT subsidy after the 12 million each received as the first installment. At the same time, a sum of 6 million francs CFA is paid to each club, representing the support of FECAFOOT for the accommodation and catering of the teams for the return phase of the championship. In the long term, FECAFOOT says the federation will have granted a sum of 29 million francs CFA to each team. That is a total envelope of 725 million francs CFA made available to the clubs of the MTN Elite 1. As for the Elite 2, an amount of 7 million francs CFA will be paid in the coming days to each of the 13 clubs in the championship as the second installment of the subsidy, each club having received a first payment of 7 million francs CFA. In all, the FECAFOOT for this season has made available to the clubs of MTN Elite 1 and MTN Elite 2 the total sum of 907 million francs CFA. As concerns the Female Division 1 Championship, the sum of 71 million francs CFA has been disbursed. With regard to the First Division Women's Football Championship, Guinness Super League, the Federation is setting the arrears of the 4th tranche of the year 2022-2021 in the amount of 6.5 million francs CFA and the payment of half of the subsidy for the 2021-2022 season, that is 31.5 million francs CFA. Added to this, the release of 15 million francs CFA representing the support of FECAFOOT for the salaries of the players, as well as the sum of 18 million francs CFA allocated to the purchase of club equipment. The overall football championship is 71 million CFA francs, reports FECAFOOT. However, this is not even counting amateur football, youth football, and
The Lingandes report ends the 6:30 p.m. edition of News on My Media Prime Television. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Kum Leonard and his team. My name is Fon Quinter. Good night.